Indeed, yeah, I'm Joe Mann. I've DJed under MOJAN and produced under the same for the last sort of 5 or 6 years. Just enthusiastic about music all round, really. Influences come from everywhere, really. Day by day it can change. Like, one day it can be really minimal house, like listen to mixes like Casper and up-and-coming producers like Ruse and people like that. The next day it's Dylan, the next day it's Jim Morrison and the Doors, the next day it's the Beatles and it's reggae, and it's just all over the place. And I think it goes with my mood. Sometimes if I don't want to be me for the day, I want to be Jim Morrison. Like, and that's what happens. Like, my music at the moment has been quite strictly to the dance floor, and I think I'm ready for sort of music to say more than that. 90% of the music I've listened to for as long as I can remember has lyrically sort of had a lot of content there. There's a lot of like meaning and a lot of stuff behind it. And I think that's one thing that I'm longing for my music to address more, essentially. It's just have more meaning and a bit more thought behind it, I think. If I was to write the lyrics, if I was to get a singer to do it, to do that, if I was to play instruments in it, I would feel more fulfilled with what I've made, and I'd feel more proud about it. I think sometimes there's an art to finding samples and manipulating them and making them your own, but if you can start from scratch and just make the sounds yourself, like, no one can replicate that. No one can do you better than you. So it's sort of like a waste of time trying to do someone else, trying to be the second version of someone else, because it's always going to lead to disappointment. So being the best version of yourself, I think. Just inspiration needs to be there. Inspiration first and foremost, like, and that's just other music, really. That's what it comes from, but it could be, it's annoying, because sometimes I feel like I need to be making like a house record or something like that, but I've been listening to bands, and my head's so far away from it. But as long as that inspiration is there, I might just be on the radio and some tune that, it might be quite a pop commercial tune, but it might just come on one bit, I think. I'll sort of put into words, or just get an understanding of something they've done. It might just be like, they've got a synth line which then is replied by a vocal. And the idea like that, I can use that. It will sound nothing like their record, but I can use that and go, oh, I've never tried putting a synth there, then a vocal there in that way. And then I can just go in there, and it's like 5 minutes and 3 hours gone by. It's like that. It's like you don't have to think about it, you're already in it. And time goes by so quick, and I think, yeah, getting into that flow state I think that's the one, really. In terms of that stuff, I'm influenced by the big ones like Arctic Monkeys, Libertines, people like that. I'm going a bit further back, like I say, Dylan and Donovan and people like that, and a lot of 60s bands. So there's a lot of that. But what I've been really liking about that is I've been able to sort of bring different skills together into software and play it back. And I can hear where things are going. So, inspired by like George Martin, like the producer of the Beatles, sort of just hearing things and like ordering things and being sort of more a producer in the old-fashioned sense, really. So if you're enjoying it, and just keep the pressure off, like just keep the pressure off, just do it because you love it. If like, that's what I've always done for me, is like I've said before, if there's a day where I'm feeling just sitting there playing at a piano and playing that, like, I'm not going to stop myself doing that. I have definitely fallen into the trap before of putting a lot of pressure on and being, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, and you squeeze the life out of it really quick. Like, it just goes, and all of a sudden you feel like you're making tunes for someone else, and you stop and think, hang about, this isn't why I started this. Do you know what I mean? Other than that, it's consistency, isn't it? It is consistency. You don't have to be Ableton and Logic every single day, but you can be involved in different ways. You can be just looking for a sample, or you could just be listening to music and then looking for a sample in actual tracks, like just staying engaged with it, I think. I like working with other artists as well, and like I said, like I mentioned George Martin for the Beatles, like working with other artists and realising their potential, not putting my influence into it, just working out what they want and, yeah, working alongside them and just experimenting, really, like, and just bringing good vibes with music in one way or another. Other than that, it's getting music out at the moment. I've got a few edits, I've got a few little naughty ones, like Fleetwood Mac edit I've done recently, which is a bit confusing. It's like, hang about, this is new. But just things like that, but just keeping it fun and keeping consistent with it and keep moving forward. Get music out. Get music out to the new person coming through. Don't be too precious. just the right amount. Be precious, but don't let it stop you getting music out, because if I'd released consistency from day one, music might not have been 10-10 at the start, but I'd be in a better position than I am now. But it's all a learning process, and I'm happy about that.